Hey everyone, I am Callie. I am back here with a good friend and an amazing travel specialist, Kristin, who is going to talk to us all about the holidays at Disney. And she is an expert because she has experienced it herself, gone through a few different things. So, Kristin, welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what we're going to chat through today.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kristin Xander. I'm a travel specialist with One Encompass Travel. Thank you for having me on. And today we're going to talk about the holidays at Disney, specifically the Christmas season. Everybody knows that it's, the festive time, there's lights and all these other things, but not everyone may know there are actually two holiday parties that you can go to, unlike other times of the year. We have our first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. That one is at Magic Kingdom. They like to say it's a little bit more kid family friendly, but they really both are. We did both parties with a just turned 3-year-old, and he enjoyed both parties. And the other is Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios. So there's some differences. Again, the rides is going to be the main difference.
Mhm.
Magic Kingdom has a lot of, the rides with no height requirements. So that's why people tend to say that one is more family friendly. But Hollywood Studios has a lot of great rides as well that you can enjoy during those times.
Yeah, and just to break it down for anyone who maybe doesn't know about these parties, these are specially ticketed events. So this is not something that you do with your party ticket. This is something, or with your daytime ticket. This is something you add on. They will typically release tickets and dates so that you know which days of the week these parties will be falling at Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios. Usually we see that I think in like June, July, we start to kind of get those schedules, or maybe even a little bit later. It kind of changes year over year, but you do need a party ticket. So for those who are unfamiliar, can you kind of just walk through what time you can enter and like what is included in kind of that ticket package?
Sure. So for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the one that's at Magic Kingdom, technically the party is 7 to midnight, but we've seen people get in for sometimes 3:30, which is awesome. You can get in, do some rides, check out some character meet and greets before the party actually starts at 7. They start getting daytime guests out around 6 o'clock, so
Mhm.
that when 7 o'clock hits, you're just there for the party. They'll give you wristbands that you have to show as you walk around. You just kind of like hold your hand up and show them that you're supposed to be there.
Yep,
And
it's official.
they'll let you get specialty foods, which some of the foods are absolutely delicious. They're only available during the party.
Mhm.
So that's really cool. If you are thinking about trying some specialty foods, you might want to get to that restaurant soon, because sometimes they do sell out pretty quickly. So once that 7 o'clock time hits, if there's a special treat that you want, I suggest getting there early so that you don't miss out on all those goodies. But the party actually itself, you can go around and kind of trick or treat to get some cookies and hot chocolate, eggnog. I believe this past year they had some apple cider. So there's different locations, and that's included with the party ticket. And there's also specialty shows. There's the parade, which is so much fun. You get to see Snope on Main Street, which is like the most magical thing ever. So you
It
don't want to
really
miss
is. Well, and I
that.
also think Tally the Elf was a big hit
Yes.
the last couple years, and Tally has changed a little bit in the last year or so. But the parade is only something that you can see at this party. So there is always a parade during the day, Festival of Fantasy, that you can see, but special tickets get the special parade, and then I do believe right at around Christmas time they kind of open that up to everyone. But for those party nights, it's pretty much an exclusive.
Yes, and there's a special Christmas fireworks show. That's tons of fun to see, the castle lit up, all the fireworks, the music. So that's tons of fun. There's the castle show right out front, all of, your favorite characters in their Christmas holiday attire, which is extremely cute. That's a lot of fun. And there's also ride overlays that are only during the party time. So Space Mountain was one of them. Teacups is another, and one that was our favorite was the Tomorrowland Speedway. Like everything is lit up and there's lights and you have all the Christmas music, and that's a lot of fun because that one and the teacups are for everybody. Anyone can ride them. Space Mountain, there's a height requirement.
Right.
Still tons of fun, but we didn't do that one with our 3-year-old because we could have rider swapped, but we just decided to stay together.
Yeah,
So the
it's a way to
Tomorrowland
do
tour
it.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think, an overlay for most of these, it's a combination of lights and music that kind of goes more Christmassy. So even like Space Mountain's kind of more of that like Trans-Siberian Orchestra music sound with the lights and that sort of thing. And the teacups, I think, are so sweet. I actually have a hard time riding at Tomorrowland Speedway when it's not Christmas now because it's so special with all the lights. And I don't know, it just has more of like a vibe to it during that time.
It does. It's so much fun. And then, of course, we have rare character meet and greets. The biggest one is Jack and Sally. That one's going to be a long wait if you want to see them. Some people say get in line right when you get there. Some say go later on. We ended up doing it after the last parade. And it ended up being a short line, but Sally wasn't there. So I don't know if that was a reason she wasn't there, was because it was the very end of the night.
Mhm.
Could be. We still like seeing Jack, so that was fun, and we didn't waste 3-4 hours waiting in line. So
Yeah, I will say that's maybe a vetted pro tip because we did this party last year, so 2024, with my kids, and they were at the time 4 and 7. And we were like, I was like, I'm not waiting in line with these kiddos for Jack and Sally, but my son loves Jack, and so we knew we had to get there. So we watched the fireworks at the very end of Main Street, kind of right by the tree. And as soon as the fireworks were over, we just like rushed over to Jack and Sally, and we waited for maybe 10 minutes because everyone else was leaving or they were going back into the park for more. So yeah, I think if you cannot do it at the beginning of the night, you may actually find those shorter waits.
yeah, that was definitely, we were happy about the short wait. So that might
Right.
be maybe towards the end of the night is a better time. If that worked for both of us,
Okay. We're
try it
gonna
out.
go with it.
See how
Let us know in the comments if it works for you.
it And then the other party, Jollywood Nights, takes place at Hollywood Studios. The party is technically 7:30 to 12:30. You can get in a little bit earlier, not technically as early as Magic Kingdom, but we saw this past year 5:30. The year before it was 6. But that's a newer party. This 2025 was the third year, I believe. So they're still trying to work out some kinks and kind of get a handle on everything, but it was a lot of fun. This one's really nice if you like to dress up too. A lot of people, we dressed up a little bit, like glitz, glamour, kind of. I've seen like 1920s flappers outfits and, just a little bit more glitz and glamour,
Yeah, like
especially
the old
around,
Hollywood
yeah.
glam dress up, like almost like a dapper day, but like holiday themed.
Yeah, it's really nice. They have the Tip Top Club over by Tower of Terror. So that's kind of, I think where the costumes are coming from. But it was a lot of fun to dress up. So that I really liked about the
Hmm.
Jollywood Nights aspect of it. And it's also really nice to see there were some rare characters that we got to see that I've never seen before. Like we got to see Lotso and Bo Peep, which my son absolutely loved seeing. That you
That's
can't
so
see all
fun.
the time. We
Yeah.
saw Max Goof, which is like, 90s flashback from my husband and I. So,
Yep.
we
Yep.
really like the character meet and greets that were there. It doesn't have any like food or anything included. Like Mickey's Very Merry has the cookies and the drinks, so you don't get that included in the ticket. The tickets for Jollywood Nights are a little bit less
Yeah.
expensive than Mickey's Very Merry, so I don't know if maybe that's part of it too. If maybe next year they'll go up in price and add some food. I don't know, because after hours includes like snacks and drinks. So
Hmm.
I think they're still trying to get the hang on what they exactly want Jollywood Nights to be. But
Right.
this year I did notice they gave out ornaments like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. The year before they had marshmallows, and the year before that, I don't even know if they had anything at Jollywood Nights.
Okay. So maybe every year we'll see a
So
little extra something.
yeah, they're just kind of, trying to, I think, feel out what people are liking and what they're not. And we did talk to somebody who had gone the first year, and I guess they asked for feedback, and Disney like really took that into consideration, which is awesome. So
Yes.
I think they're definitely listening to what their guests are saying about the parties, specifically Jollywood Nights, because it's so new.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've noticed about Jollywood, and I haven't done Jollywood yet, it's actually I plan to go this year. 2026 is my year, and I'm gonna hopefully do both parties because I'm like, if I'm going, why not?
Yeah.
Um, but I think one of the things I really am excited about with Jollywood is that there's so much live entertainment kind of scattered around, and musicians and singers and cast members that do these things for different jobs during the day, but they get to be crooners at night. And the ice, like just different shows. I think it really does play up to that Hollywood, classic Hollywood MGM style. And I think it allows you to kind of take your time. I think it's one of those parties. It seems like you can like not be rushing as much, where I feel as though Mickey's Very Merry, because there is so much to do and there's so many more attractions, and like you kind of have to pick and choose what you want to get in a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party, because you can't do it all. But Jollywood, like you probably could do it all if you just knew where you were going and kind of had a little bit of a plan for the night.
Yeah, I feel like Jollywood was a lot more relaxed and slow paced. And we were trying to get like a lot of rides in it. Mickey's Very Merry, because my son had just hit the 40 inches. So we were doing like
Oh yeah.
Tiana's and Seven Dwarfs because
It unlocks a
the
whole new,
normal time is really long. So we're like,
yep,
well, let's bang these out at the party because most of the time the rides have lower wait times.
yes.
So that was really nice. And at Hollywood Studios, they have lower wait lines too, but it is more relaxed and you just kind of like, I don't know, enjoy. I guess like it's just the whole ambiance is different. The
Yes.
vibe is different.
And that's the thing too, is people don't realize how much they've been increasing the decorations at Hollywood Studios the last couple of years as a result of Jollywood, I think. But that park is beautiful at Christmas time. Even if you're not going for the party, they have so much more decor that really makes it feel like that Miracle on 34th Street era. And it's everywhere, where I think before it was maybe scattered, and now it really feels festive.
Yeah, I really do like it's definitely a different vibe. Like you said, it's more like old school decorations and it's just an older, like classical vibe. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's so nice to just stroll along, especially like along the lake with Gertie. And it's
Gertie.
just it's so cute.
Santa Gertie is a win. Every time I see her with her hat, I'm like,
She's so cute. If
she
you don't
is.
know what we're talking about, Gertie is the dinosaur that's kind of like Hollywood Studios mascot almost.
Yes,
But
she's in Echo Lake. You can't miss her. She's kind of where you find Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular behind her, but you see her in all her glory, and she even dresses up for the holiday.
she's so cute.
So for people that you mentioned, that you felt like it was great for kids, both parties. I think that's definitely I think I hear a lot of people say Jollywood's more adult, Mickey's is more kid. What were some, you said the characters were some of the big draws for the kids. The rides, again, you can do those things. For anyone who is bringing kids, any advice when it comes to Jollywood or even Mickey's Very Merry? Any advice for people going with little ones?
I know some people say like do the park because the wait times are less in the morning, but we found that we do a break day.
Yeah.
So we have a relaxed morning, whether that be like a character breakfast and then go back to the
Mhm.
resort and like even take a nap or just hang out by the pool. It's the night itself is long, but if you're going from 7 a.m. until midnight or 1 a.m., that's a long day for anyone. So some kids might be able to do it. We went with a 3-year-old. We felt like it was better to have a break morning
Yes.
and just kind of ease into it. We did go for the start times like 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock to
Mhm.
get early and do some things before the party.
Mhm.
But kind of go at their pace. That's what we found. We've brought my son 3 times now. He was 2, 3, not yet 2, almost 2, 2.5, and 3 when we went. And we just kind of, if it's hot this time of year, it's not too bad, but
Right.
take breaks, kind of go and be flexible with the kids because if they have, a meltdown and you're all melting down, you might not get to stay the whole time and enjoy the party. And,
Yes.
kind of go in with a plan. Do you want to do some rides? What characters do you want to meet? Because, like you said, especially Mickey's Very Merry, you're going to be sprinting the whole time if you're trying to do it all. So
Yes.
pick a couple must do rides, pick a couple must do characters, maybe a place or two you want to try a special treat that's just for the party. And then if you can do more, that's awesome. But go in with a plan of these are our must do's, and we're probably not going to be able to do everything this one
Yeah.
and then have a plan to go, back in a couple of years and do it again because you're going to want
Yes.
to. As soon as you do one of these parties, you're going to want to keep going back.
That's where I'm at this year. I alternated this year. I did Christmas the previous year. This year was Halloween, and
Yeah.
I'm like, next year I gotta go back for Christmas again. But I do think it's a good point about taking some rest time at the beginning, especially with kids. The other factor is food. A lot of the restaurants, especially at Magic Kingdom, will actually close down early for the party nights. And so if you were looking for like a full meal or like a significant meal, you want to do that early in the night. Because to your point, later they're going to have great snacks and treat stations and different things you can get. But if you're hungry, hungry, for something maybe not as sweet, a little more savory, use that before 7 o'clock time that you're in there to get your food in. That was something that I noticed with a lot of people trying to go to mobile order. I was like, oh, there's no more, you can't get anything at those because those restaurants are now places for cookie stops or other factors.
Yeah.
So if you had any advice for someone who is going to a party for the very first time, you mentioned have a plan. Any advice in terms of how they would plan their trip days? I think obviously most people go down during the holidays and they want to do a lot of things. There's park days, there's party nights, there's resort time. What's some advice you give some of your clients when they're thinking about visiting during that time of the year so that they can do what they want to do, but also have a realistic expectation of how much can get done?
So when I talk even just about like the layout of the party nights, because we know usually they're like certain nights of the week, especially once we have these two parties together, they are not on the same nights. So they're going to be like, if one's a Monday, the other one's not going to be on a Monday. So I suggest, just in terms of transportation, and
Mhm.
especially if they're flying, not to do a party the day you're coming in, because if your flight is delayed, like it's going to be a nightmare. You might miss the party. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So have it like your first full day there or later in the week. And what we've done is it worked out most of the time. It will be either our first full day or like midweek that
Hmm.
we did one of the parties. And then Jollywood Nights was our last night before
Great.
and then we had a later flight. Like we didn't have to wake up and get to the airport super early. So we got to sleep in and just check out at 11. So that
Yeah.
would be my suggestion for the party. Try not to do it the day you're coming in, unless you live close. Like if you live in Florida or Georgia and you're not that far away, then you'll be okay. But if you're flying in from somewhere, try not to do it on your arrival day. And
Hmm.
then also have break days in between. So if you're there for 4 days and you have 2 days of tickets plus two parties, that might be again, it depends on if you have children, what your normal
Hmm.
schedule is. But if you can do 5 days, and have a break day in the middle, or, just kind of try to get a little bit of rest in there somewhere. If you can't take a rest day, do a rest morning before the parties.
Yes, it's
So
great
you got the
advice.
energy to make it through the night, because the time goes by super fast too. That's one thing I have to say. Like
Hmm.
4 to midnight is literally like the blink of an eye. We're looking at the clock and it's like 9 o'clock and we just got here. And so
Yeah,
it goes by so fast
it
that
does. It really does. And it's so fun and there's so much going on, so much to take in. The advice I'm gonna share is work with someone who knows these parties. Work with a travel agent. Like this is what we're here for. This is what Kristin knows really well too. She's an expert herself going to Disney, but also helping a lot of other people do it. And that's the thing. Everyone's trip will be different. Every family, every dynamic may be a different thing, but that's what we're here for to help with. So for anyone who is looking for expertise, talk to Kristin. I will have all of her information here in our notes from this episode, but also just know that like you don't need to do it alone. The service is free and you can really get someone who's in your corner helping to understand what you want to get out of it and make those recommendations in a way that works for your whole group. So, Kristen, thank you for sharing
so much.
your passion for the season. Thank you for giving us all a reason to dress up tonight. And again, reach out to Kristen. She's amazing. And make sure that you get early on getting those tickets for Jollywood and Mickey's Very Merry when they come out. They do sell out, especially very key weekends or days, leading up to the holidays can sell out pretty quickly. So when those tickets drop, get on it quickly. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.